All right, we are live. Let's give it a few minutes to have some folks join us before I say my little spiel. Welcome, Helena. Thank you so much for joining us tonight
Thank
to
you.
tell your story. So, as our Mama Maya once said, there's no greater agony than an untold story. There's no greater agony than an untold story. So I just want to encourage everyone to tell your story, whether that story is whether you're an author in the making, an artist of some sort, a photographer, a videographer. I just want to encourage everyone to tell your story. Everybody has a story to tell, and every one of us Africans deserve for our stories to be told. There's no greater agony than an untold story. And speaking of which, our sister Helena has a story to tell tonight about her trip to Namibia. Namibia, right? Namibia.
Namibia. Yes.
Namibia.
So welcome to Sisters for Nationhood. I am Spirit Lifters, your co host, and I am joined by our beautiful host, beautiful and brilliant host, Sister Salima, and our beautiful and brilliant speaker, Helena, who is going to give us quote unquote boots on the ground stories about her trip to Namibia. So, Sister Salima and Helena, take it away.
Good evening.
All
This
right.
is your sister Salima. I'm excited. That's the most important thing right now. And I probably say that most shows, but for this particular show, I'm extremely excited because I have this closeness and affinity to our sister Helena. I don't even know if she
That's
know
right.
that, but I think that's my sister right there. And
So sweet.
to
Thank
get
you.
her firsthand account of the continent, I'm excited about it. I'm very, very I just want to hear what she has to say and what important tidbits of information she has to give to us this evening. Um, I made the comment on a live stream that we now have boots on the ground in multiple countries. We now have multiple members who have been to multiple countries who have made tremendous relationships on the continent. So nation building is an awesome thing, but sometimes most times it's not a fast paced thing where it just takes off.
Right.
So we are now doing the groundwork so that when we do get there in a large number, we have contacts, we have resources, and we have made friendships that will make sure that we are there in the best capacity possible. So that's what this show is about. Us having boots on the ground and us having the ability to say this is what is going on there in real time. So I give this to my beautiful sister, and I can't wait to ask my questions and to get all of this information. So, Sister Helena, it's off to you.
Thank you. Thank you both for having me today.
Thank
um,
you.
well, my trip to Namibia was last year. I went in mid-March and stayed for about a month, so came back to
Mm.
the U.S. in mid-April. Yeah, it went by pretty fast. At first, it was going by, at a nice pace, and then it seemed like it was just rolling by. The days were flying by. And it was their summertime when I went in March, and their summertime usually ends, I think it's the end of May. So it was in the low 80s almost every day. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. That African sun, that's not something people just throw out there and, they're lying about. It's so true. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I got there. I went, flew over and stopped over in Ethiopia to change planes. So unfortunately, I didn't get to stay in Ethiopia, but got to Namibia. about 22, 23 hours later. And first impression was, this is the second time on the continent for me. So first time was when we had our BAIO trip in 2019, going to Rwanda, Kigali, and it was almost that same feeling. It was like, yeah, I'm actually here. This is a completely different country. This is, on southern West Africa versus on the eastern side of the continent. But it was still a great feeling of actually being there, and going to get to see something new. And just driving from the airport, one of the folks who was helping our group, he's a expat from a Jamaican expat, and that's something I'll touch on a little bit also. But he took me from the airport to our we call I guess an Airbnb. It was like an apartment townhouse, and we also rented a house because we had so many members, so we split it. And just driving, it is a huge country. It was absolutely beautiful. A lot of land, and a lot of land that's not owned by Black Namibians. So that was, kind of a little bit of that introduction. But it was just absolutely gorgeous. And when we got to the Airbnb, my place, I was sharing it with two other people in our group, and it was a modern uh, townhouse kind of apartment, two levels. And I got to see, while I was there for the month, different housing situations. And so this was, hey, Dundada. Hey, and he was on the trip too, for about a week or so, week and a few days. So he's somebody who's got some stories. But he's hey Dawood, thank you, sir. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
seeing the comments.
no,
I was
no.
gonna
Please
just
interact,
not
interact.
answer it,
To
but
interact, take your time.
yeah, talk to everybody. But it was we wanted something where to get the housing. There was some confusion at some point, because originally we were going to rent something, yeah, an Airbnb, and all of us were going to be either in the house or right next to each other. But things kind of got topsy turvy, and it wasn't a formal tour that we were doing. Like for Rwanda, we had more of a formal tour, so we were working things out, and it was a very good experience. It was a different experience. And yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Dada did. Say, if you all see, he says we were on the road for 2 weeks, countless hours on the road, good times. And there are two other brothers with us who were doing most of the driving. Dada's definitely right. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But well, the housing situation ended up being good. We had a house which was in a compound, kind of two houses. The other house was another family and the owner of the property. And the townhouse that I was staying in, and two of our other folks in our group, she also owned that. And this is a woman who owns properties, not just in Namibia, in Angola, and a couple other countries. So it's starting off, it was interesting being a woman and seeing that she had that international, experience. And we were there in that particular spot for about 2.5 weeks, I think it was. And then we moved to the house as some members left. So we consolidated into one house. But it was a modern, the stereotype of the huts is, unfortunately, still some of us have that mindset. And it's just, you saw everything. We were in Windhoek, in the capital city. It can be expensive, actually. A lot of people were expanding out because it's gotten so expensive. So many people have moved in. It's a little under 500,000 people in
Mm.
the city. But and that's a large number when you look at the population of Namibia. Namibia, they've got about 2.6 million people, I think, total. And the size of the country is over 300,000 square feet. Square miles, excuse me. Good gracious.
Yes,
And
indeed.
it is huge. And Windhoek is the major city, and most people, our folks, are spread out all over, but it's a small population. And I compared it to Rwanda. Hey, there you go, CD. He was there too. So Dundada is this Collie Durden Productions. We know him as CD Clarence. Yeah, he was there too. So he's got some stories. But the folks, we were, the city. It's you can say 500,000. I guess here you'd consider it a mid-sized city. So it was a very nice location. I did some walking some mornings and able to stretch my legs and just look at some of the houses, and very impressive, beautiful. There were I guess I call it a middle class neighborhood, and there's some houses that were on the more expensive end. So we were in the neighborhood, but we weren't in the village. We did that. We were able to visit later, but that first week we really, I think, wanted to get grounded in the city in Windhoek. And yes, it's large, but large undeveloped land between the town and cities. Absolutely. Absolutely. And God, that country is huge. It's just enormous. And just again, comparing it to Rwanda, because that was my only other African experience. Rwanda has over 12 million people, and I think their land size is 10,000 square miles versus a little over 10,000 square miles versus the 300 and some odd square miles for Namibia. Just in the opposite in the number of people. There's a ton of people in Rwanda versus Namibia. So that was another thing for me, adjusting, being back, and just it's like you're dealing with the opposite: a lot of land and much fewer people. But well, anyway, just getting back to talking about the city and where we were, and it was absolutely beautiful walking around and seeing the homes. It's like a suburb where we were, a suburb in Windhoek, a suburb in the United States, except that they have for security reasons and landlocked. Yes, yes, it was yeah, where we were. Rwanda, excuse me. Yes,
Yeah, Rwanda
yeah.
is landlocked. So Namibia is landlocked also, or just
No,
Rwanda?
no, Rwanda. Yeah, I was
Okay.
mistaken.
Yeah.
He's Namibia is right above South Africa, and it's on the eastern side, would say
Okay.
Western Africa, but I'm going opposite. Rwanda being on the east and Namibia on the west, and it's definitely beautiful beach. When we went to uh, uh, Walvis Bay and Swakopmund for a little bit. But yeah, they've got plenty of coastline.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I just forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, that it was impressive. My first impression was how much land there was and how few people versus the other experience with Rwanda. So I didn't know if anybody wanted to ask anything. I'm going to prattle on a little more.
I have a
Are there any
few
questions?
questions.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I have a few questions. My first question, did you find any negative attributes to the country? Anything that was like a little off-putting, or, you know?
You know what, I'd say dealing that they're still they had their independence from South Africa a little over 30 years ago. Hey, Love and Nija. Hello, sis. Um, and they're still dealing with the remnants, is I guess putting a little too mildly, but they're still dealing with coming out of colonialism and that apartheid, because South Africa was so down and still has quite a hold on, in many ways, on Namibia. Namibia is like, I guess, the little brother to the big brother or whatever. There is still that relationship. Something happens in South Africa, and Namibia is definitely concerned and is right there,
Yeah,
dealing with
because
whatever.
it wasn't only in 2017 that they gained their independence from that apartheid South African regime. It was only in 2017, so that's still fairly new.
Well, completely. That they were. What was it? 1990. Oh boy. See, here we go. Math. uh, they they officially got their independence. I believe it was 90. Was it
Or I
94?
should say, I'm sorry,
90. I'm sorry.
27
90.
years. I'm sorry, 27 years prior to
Yes.
2017.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
27 years prior to 2017. Forgive me.
Yes. They got their full independence in
Yeah.
1990. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that so I mean, to some people that's a long time, but You didn't think about that?
It's not.
No,
It's
it's
No.
not.
not.
I
It's
don't,
not.
and I don't understand that. What angers me is that every other group of people is allowed the time to one grieve,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
regroup, to rebuild, but we are
Absolutely.
supposed to jump right back up
Oh yeah, immediately.
and say, "Hey, let me go ahead and run this country like I've been running it all of this time."
Right.
You know, so I agree with you on that, and I thought that was going to be your answer. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, yeah. It is.
Um,
And that makes an impression because it's not like somebody stands there and says that to you. Uh, but it's something that's there. They're still dealing. You
yeah.
see it in the dealing with their financial matters, and just cultural, and just like there's somebody else who's got too much of a hand in things,
Pulling the
and they can't.
strings.
Yeah, and they can't do what needs to be done to. Yeah, absolutely, Love and Nigel. Just fresh in the game. That's not a lot of time at all. And I say especially when there's still active interruptions into you developing, you being your own country, you being your own nation, or getting because of the different groups. Also, there were some groups that were really devastated, ethnic groups or tribal groups, the Herreros and I think Nama, who I mean everybody was affected. I'm definitely not trying to say that wasn't the case, but it seems like with the genocide of the Herreros, it just I mean the count was like 30 to 40,000, something like that, moving them out of Fintuk, um, and to a little further north. It's still uh, Windhoek proper, I guess, is the Comus region, but there's an area, Katatora, which is the black area, which we were in a lot too. Going to the markets, I purchased some material for clothing for for some folks who asked me for that, and it was interesting to seeing us. They still deal with issues, but they're moving and they're thriving, but they're still the fact that other people determine where you are, and that's like a generation or two down the line. It's still you're not. It's your country, but it's not your country completely.
Mm-hmm.
If I could say the best way to describe it, it's like it is yours, but it's not. Even though you're the majorities, and this is a black country, quote unquote. That's still the single quarter. Yes, where we did our shopping, and CD got some shoes. We had a couple members get some shoes. They're handmade. And purchase
Wow.
material, meat. The slaughter and the meats right there. A few other things like olive oil. I mean, it was really, you're buying directly from the people. That was, I like that. I like the single quarter. Yeah, it's a Katatora. But you see Black folks living, working, and to a certain extent thriving. I put that in quotes. You're moving, you're doing your thing every day, but it's still not as far as a whole country. It's not where it should be for our folks. I say for Black Africans.
So I read
Yes,
that it's 60%. I mean, 6%. The white
Mm-hmm.
population makes up about 6%.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say? Did I miss anything? Because I kind of
Yeah, I didn't hit on their percentage yet. Yeah, that's right. That's what I saw too,
okay.
about that. Um, a place where we would go to eat and drink and socialize, and we had meetings with other folks. It's a main hub in Windhoek. They have the owner is Jamaican expat.
Oh, nice.
There's a group, and a lot of the folks that we interacted with were Jamaican expats there,
Oh,
really. And I mean, think all of us have Caribbean heritage. I do,
right,
but on
right.
the Bahamian and then Jamaican side further down the line. But it was fantastic that there were some African American expats, but a sprinkling, and we met with a couple of folks, reaching out and met with a couple of folks, and also limited progression due to political corruption, which stunts the growth of. But absolutely, yes, and yes, the data. I can't say any more on that. Absolutely.
And on that note, also something that I was discussing with Hala today, just to interject for 1 second, and then
Mm-hmm.
I want
Mm-hmm.
to hear everything you have to say, the rest of what you have to say. For those that we would hope to join the BAIO. Sisters for Nationhood. One of the things that I shared with him, and he agreed, because in one of the lives, I think, or one of the communications, we were talking about people that may want to relocate. They want to move out of this country, but for right now, their focus may not be Liberia. And what Holub said was, in terms of joining the BAIO, we would still want them to join the BAIO, even though their focus might not be to move to Liberia right now.
Right.
We understand why it's
Right.
not moving, but we still welcome people who have the same ideas and like-mindedness to want to join an organization that is focused on the fact that we need to go to a place where we are respected and revered.
That's right.
And we need to, and if there's anything that is corrupt, if there's anything that is less than ideal, the same way we would fight to make that change here, we need to fight to make that change with the people that look like us, that for the most part are welcoming us in that space. The other thing, though, that was very important, that I shared with him today is, as we prepare and discuss and talk about or connect with people that are interested in relocating to the motherland, the conversations that we have are centered around changing the way we think, changing the way we look, because we are victims of oppression, hands down. Like, a lot of times people say, oh, don't play the victim. No, we are victims
Absolutely.
of oppression in 2022.
Yes.
Okay. We have lived under the white gaze, and we are also dealing with our parents, the trickle-down effects of what our parents dealt with living under the white gaze. So we don't know how amazing we are and how amazing we could be if we were to live in a country where we did not have to deal with the stiffening in our bodies and all the calculations and the mental gymnastics that we have to do to live in a country that doesn't like us but
every day
wants to use us every day. The mental gymnastics we do when we think about all our loved ones that we're concerned about, or the mental gymnastics I do every time I see a police officer and a police car, and I literally move over and pretend like I found that I've reached my destination, just so they don't follow me. And I encourage all of us to do that, especially our black and brown boys.
Yes.
Just move over to the side and let them mofos go someplace else, and act like I'm sorry. Now every now and then they might, one time they pulled behind me, and I had to do what I had to do to behave myself, but we won't have to live under those types of things. So Sisters for Nationhood and the BAIO, all these conversations, it is, for me, my investment comes in sharing and talking about who we are living under the white gaze, or who we are living as oppressed Africans in America, doing our best to be grateful for the present of the present, even in the midst of, because our life, the gift is of life. Life is a gift. So whether we're oppressed or not, we still owe it to ourselves to go after our dreams and live our best lives. So the conversations for me with our in Sisters for Nationhood and with the BAIO is for us to connect on a level where we are working to shed all the negativity that we deal with, and teach our young people what the principles of, or what the to the best of our ability, what Africanism is truly about. Who are we to, to bring our innate wisdom to the table so we can encourage our young people not only to join us as we make our exit plan,
Yeah.
but also to work on the things that we need to work on in terms of how we treat each other, how we love one another, how we love ourselves. Because we have an issue, like we talked about the other day, Thursday night, we have an issue loving ourselves and we have an issue loving each other.
Yes.
So to that point, and I'll shut up here. To that point, it's very important to me that when we speak with one another and when we encourage other people to join the BIO, that we do it with love and we do it with class and we do it with grace. Because as Africans, that's really who we were called to be had we not been oppressed.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. And it's something that I was thinking about when I was there, being there with a group, to me, and just needing to move as a group to get things done. And you can get things done for yourself individually, but yeah, it's going to take people of like mind to really for our people to change it around. And I've heard Hollop say plenty of times that understand why people want to do, and sometimes you have to do for it to survive. But for the bigger picture, you need to involve other people. You need to be with other people and interact and go to in order to move towards that goal for all of us to progress and to be able to, to survive generations. I mean, it can't be, you on a solo mission.
Right.
Obviously, you need to survive. We all need to survive. You got to work or whatever. Yeah, do your thing. But that's not going to be the route to take if you're talking about us as a group. And when I was there, I was extremely happy with Dundada and with the CD amongst our group and just folks that I talked to in the past and finally able to meet and pray. Well, I met CD, of course, when we went to Rwanda, but just some of the other folks we talked to so many times and just being there. And we go places and we're laughing and joking. There some of the Namibians were looking like, and there was nothing hostile. It was just like, it's obvious we weren't Namibian, just the way we would cut up and mess with each other and go back and forth and just having fun and us talking. Yeah. And it was absolutely to me, I said critical. It just honed that in for me. Yeah, as a group, you really need to more of us, and it's good that this is happening where we're seeing more people going to the continent and more groups. Yeah. I said, but with the mindset of us doing something for our people for the future, because in the US, it ain't it. Y'all paying attention.
Helena, you just hit on my next question, as a matter of fact. My next question was, how did the people treat you all?
Yeah, I'd say my experience there, and I speak for most of us, was fantastic with dealing with other folks. A lot of it, memories fade now since it was March, but some things I remember was the reaction to our accents and just meeting African Americans, because African American culture, I put in quotes, with music and with actors, is still something that's big. I mean, people like some of the people that we were talking to told me I sounded like Viola Davis. Now, I mean, I've seen Viola Davis. I can't conjure up her voice right now in my head, but I was laughing because I said I think it's more about the accent,
Yeah.
And some of the other folks, they sound one of our group members who's lively. I mean, she's lively. She's fantastic. Folks were saying she sounds like Cardi B there. Just hearing the accent. And one guy, and she was with me. We went in to one of the malls. We were in the store early on, and he was absolutely, he was so fascinated, and he almost not fell over because he couldn't believe he never met African Americans. He saw us on TV.
Oh wow.
Obviously heard the music, but I mean, he was just in a positive way, fascinated, just and he was so loud. He was like, "Oh, you all are really." It's like, "Yeah, you're really real." Yeah, we are. We're not, but it's more of that interaction. It has to be us talking directly with our brothers and sisters on the continent. It's got to be
Exactly.
us. Nobody else in the middle. Nobody interpreting. No other group. Nothing. Us talking directly to each other, no matter where.
And you know what's so crazy about that you
Mm,
said that if you go according to the popular narrative, Africans hate us.
yes.
Africans
Yep.
don't want us to come home.
Sister Nina, that's right, Dundada.
Africans think that we are trash, that we are
Yes,
beneath them.
please. Oh my
And
goodness.
I ask this question to everyone who goes to the continent, and
Hmm.
the answer is always the same. It's always positive,
Yes,
you know?
it
So
was fantastic.
that
Absolutely
is
fantastic.
that right there is one of the most important things to me, because I know that when we come there, and if we come there with an open heart and an open mind and a willingness to actually build wherever we are, then the reaction to us is going to be positive. Of
Yes.
course, there's going to be some bumps in the road, or
Right.
people who think that we're
Absolutely.
coming there to take over, or whatever the case may be. But that's something that we'll get over with, and we'll discuss with our brothers and sisters when we're there.
That's
But
right.
as long as we have the opportunity to actually go there and they are welcoming, I don't see a problem at all.
Yes, and
So
it is. When the people who say that here, I think because of the ridiculous competition that is felt with
yes, ma'am, Mrs. Theory.
other black folks. That's right, Asiri. No third party conversations.
That's
And I don't
right.
need nobody in between
We
me and
don't need
somebody
nobody, but
else.
we don't need no spooks in the back room, in the
That's right.
back door. We don't need no overseers.
That's right.
We grown up people. We could go there and talk to our brothers and sisters on
We
our
can
own.
handle it. We can
We
handle it.
got this.
That's right.
Y'all had your time to control the narrative, and now it's going to be what
It's
is
done.
our reality.
That's exactly right. And I'm telling you, it is, and some of the reaction that we got as a group was like, yeah, this is fantastic. We want more and of our folks, from across in the US coming over. We want more expats all over in the Caribbean. We want for our people to, start that more of that, not just the conversation, working together. I mean, being with each other, and just like we had some cookouts and braais there, and just meeting some of some of the folks there, Angolans, South African, Namibian, fantastic. Just the interaction alone is, and so much of African American culture they know. It was hilarious, some of the stuff they're saying. So just laughing, just being, as Hollywood said, just being. Like, yeah, this is what it should be. That, to me, that interaction, just that natural, and again, as a group, um enjoying, that's
Yes,
huge.
Dondada, that's so important, that we
Yes,
having interaction with the professionals there, and the people who
you
have
dropped a
the
pretty profound message.
ability to make changes. That's exactly the people that we need to be contacting and connecting with. And this sounds like it was an amazing trip.
It was really good. And at the challenge, we had some challenges because obviously we were dealing with there was a curfew, and since this was March and April of 2021, so things were kicking up again, and curfews were in effect at different places. And in Namibia, it was 10 p.m. So there are things we couldn't do, and we would be laughing, joking, and be somewhere. And I mean, like, oh my goodness, it's 9:30. We got we got to go. We're hitting the road, and it was that there were some constraints with that, but there was so much. I mean, we enjoyed, and like I said, had brides, cookouts, whatever, our get-togethers at different houses, and we were able to do things and enjoy like that. But yeah, that the time flew by when it came to the night.
Speaking of roads, how were the roads?
Oh, German engineering still came through. The Germans had a huge part in what happened in Namibia, not just the South African Boers.
Mm.
And those roads were, yeah, oh yeah, Cali, yeah. Yep. But yes, yeah. The roads were good. Yeah. And Dundada and I say Kali Durden Productions could tell you. Yeah. He's there were two of the three who did the all of the driving. Besides the driver we had at one point.
How was the driving? How do they drive there? Is it the typical story like we heard earlier today?
We're
From the
flying.
previous, they
Uh,
are flying.
they're flying. When we drove north, we were gonna originally go to Atosha Park. There was some for safari.
Hmm.
But when we drove past there, we were going to come back to safari, but time got away from us, so we weren't able to make the safari. But long. So that was like an 8 hour Dundada 8 hour 9 hour drive straight up, and Dundada was going. It was flying, and I forgot what the speed limit was. It was a what was it? 75. Gosh, I can't remember what it was. But at any rate, we were flying. Other people on the road were flying. But the roads were good. It's when we got into the villages, obviously, and you turned off, and we were going to different homesteads, and it was, you're going off road. So we had what they call a backy, and you can off road with that. There were some challenges at 65, 120, 65. Yeah, 120.
120. What was
Yeah,
120?
65 miles per hour.
Okay.
Yeah, but we before we knew that, right? Dundada was going past that
Huh.
significantly.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
It was funny. I
120
was in the other car,
kilometers.
and I
Okay.
mean, you blinked and they were gone. And I said, we were going at a good pace. They were
Wow.
gone. They weren't playing. It's like, oh my gosh. But
Wow.
yeah,
I
so
love it.
the roads were good. I'm sorry, Spirit Lift. As
Oh,
I go
yeah,
off on
no.
that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah.
So would you move there?
I think that's one of the places I consider. I want to see so much more. I mean, it got me like I want to go back, and I want to
Okay.
also want to, obviously with Liberia coming up, want to be able to. I want to because originally the trip we were going to do two groups, the Gambia
Hmm.
and Namibia,
Hmm.
and so ended up. Well, we consolidated and everybody, long story short, went to Namibia and we delayed a couple times, I think. But finally settled on it. And yeah, I definitely, there are other places I want to see, but Namibia is definitely on the list. The potential
Okay.
there, I think, is, and especially with the group and get things going.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's positive to me. There are
Okay.
challenges, obviously, with everything. I'm keeping
Okay.
that in mind,
True.
being
True.
optimistic.
True. True. So a day in the life for a
Yes.
woman in Namibia, like in
Hmm.
terms of your self-care, what are some of the thing, what did you engage in any of those things like salons or
Oh, we were going to do
observe any
that.
of those things?
Oh, it's funny you said that. And time got away from us. We there were so many different things. We had different meetings. The goal with our group was to start engaging and um sifting out business opportunities.
Hmm.
So that was kind of primary, and there was a lot of other things happening. And me and one of our other group members, Nina, and another one who just joined with us, Sisters from Nationhood, we were going to do a spa, but I can't remember what happened. But things just okay. We were going to go north, and then we ended up, we were going to go north and east and west, and so many things happened. We just didn't get to that. But yeah, definitely we did shopping, Spirit Lifter. So that's some of that. We definitely did a lot of shopping, and we didn't get to do the spa. That was, yeah, funny you said that. That was one thing. I said next
um
time.
Sister Salima just dropped for the second
Uh-oh.
time. I was going to say that we need to get her Connie's Creations
Yes,
in
on the
all
continent.
these, all yeah, on the continent when
And
she
I was
comes
thinking
out
about
on the
sourcing
7th.
too. I mean, she's fantastic. She with the gardenia. That was with my order. I got the gardenia, one of the scrubs. But,
Oh,
but
nice.
yeah, and it just smells so good. And she, like she said, it grows, naturally where she is, and
Mhm.
just could get it. But I was thinking, yeah, there's so many. That's another thing there in Namibia, and on the continent. Period. So many things that like moringa that we're like, you
Oh,
spent like
moringa.
$16, $17 for whatever a bag of it.
Yes.
It's almost nothing because it's there. The moringa trees and all the other, I guess, moringa trees, but so many of the things that we, pay an arm and a leg for
Right.
here. It's like, yeah, there you don't have to. Now they can in Namibia. Hey, Ronan.
Oh,
Yeah, Namibia, they would you see some things where the prices rival the US. Something,
Mhm.
and that's in the malls. There were three major malls. We were in the malls also quite a bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
And buying from vendors outside also, different spots. But
Sister Salima, go
hey,
ahead. Don't let me interrupt you.
oh yeah,
I was saying, Sister Salima, that we need to get your products over there.
Oh yes, absolutely. I
yes,
told you
ma'am.
guys the story about when a sister took them over, and the first time that she went over, she took 3 jars. She came back with nothing, and then the next time, I think she purchased like 7 jars
Oh yeah,
to go
Oh,
back, because she
beautiful.
said, she's like, they have, yeah, we have shea butter, but we don't have anything like this. So
Mhm.
oh, I'm
just making
already
sure.
thinking, like, when I get there, I need to start getting my shea butter from the
Yep.
Yes,
continent.
yes.
I want to start getting my cocoa butter. I want to, as much as I can get. That is
Mhm.
my plan. Like, that's where everything is going to go, because like, it's so hard to get quality shea butter. I don't think
Mm.
anybody even notices the things that they do to shea butter
Mm.
to stretch it.
Yes,
They
dilute it and
manipulate
stretch it out.
everything.
Yep.
So, and I can tell now that I've been doing it so long, I can tell when I have shea butter that is manipulated,
Mm.
and there are just so many steps to getting it to a workable. um it's the consistency. It just destroys the consistency of it.
Yeah, after working with it, you could tell when they've done something.
Oh yeah, and it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
What they're
Yep.
doing, and they're using it would be one thing if you were
Yeah.
doing something that was stretching it with something that was helpful to the
But it's not.
product, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yep.
I remember it was one year where it was like a complete drought. I couldn't find quality shea butter, and that was the reason that I had to figure out how to manipulate it so that it
Oh
would
no.
work. And it just, you can tell it's just a bad
Stands out.
feel of it. So, and the process of getting it where it's workable is
Mm-hmm.
insane. So
It worked.
that's definitely the plan. The plan is to get over there, make contacts, and have and just have the best products ever.
Well, let me tell you, the last two comments, especially here, Dundada says the business is the business, it's there. The hair and nail business would be a great investment for someone. They don't have the basic tools. And Spirit Lifter, when you asked earlier, I forgot to tell you, yeah, we did get our nails in our pedicures and manicures done
Mhm.
there. And one of our
Good.
sisters, Nina, got her hair done
Oh,
while she was
nice.
there. Yeah. And then what Collie Durden says here, you must be careful where you get your products, even on the continent. It could be a Chinese or European company, which is true, which we
Yeah.
found out in Rwanda, getting material to have we were getting outfits made for each of us. And it was China, 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 China. And
Oh my
just my
goodness.
jaw dropped. I was not expecting that. So in Namibia, and with our group, it's like we want to engage with African folks. So we were making that effort. And it was fantastic because the material I got was sourced from Nigeria,
Oh, good.
I think Angola, and I think Liberia, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
know
it
that.
wasn't. Mhm.
No, I know that shea butter. I'm gonna have to go to it just dropped out of my head. I know that I have to. There's a specific country where it comes from,
Mhm.
so I know that I'll have to go there and to get the best product. And
Mhm.
so that's the plan. That is definitely the plan to get. I have a friend who has a who farms argan, and he makes
Ooh.
argan oil.
Ooh.
Oh, he
Okay.
sent us the videos of how they source it, and he has like something like 100 acres where he's just growing different crops.
Wow. Wow.
And he's from the United
That's
States,
what we need.
Nice.
but
Yes.
he's been there.
Yes.
He's been on the continent, I think, 30 years now. So
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hello.
So
Keep
his
him in
me and
mind.
his
Keep him in mind
absolute.
for
Oh,
Yeah,
us.
and
Yeah.
this
absolutely.
is what we need.
Yeah. Like
We
that.
need to have a list, a running
Yes.
list of the people that's in on the continent and the people that are here so that we can make sure that we're supporting both and that so we can start building those relationships and doing businesses with each other, keeping it 110%
Yes.
African, whether they're here or I mean, because if I like something, I don't care where it comes from. If I like,
Hmm.
if I like something that's funky, I'm gonna get it from wherever. But I
Mhm.
prefer to get it from my African brothers or brothers and sisters if they're
Absolutely.
here. Oh, one more plug for Connie's creation. Gotta tell you, gotta tell you. First of all, brothers. First of all, brothers. I hope y'all know that this shea butter is for you too. Okay,
Yes.
my son,
Yes.
my son was reared on shea butter. Okay, he uses it on his body. He uses it, I believe, he makes drums. So I think he even uses it when it comes to the drums. Um, I'll confirm that. Um, also, so I had this 10-day retreat. I went through something pretty emotional, and I took 10 days to just handle process what was happening and accept took 10 days to accept the thing that I cannot change, and find the good in it.
Mhm.
So at the end of my 10-day retreat, I had a ritual of soaking in some Epsom salt and lavender, lighting a candle, and then using my sister's um uh blackberry amber
Hmm.
shea butter. And
Mm.
let me tell you, talk about a spirit lifter, from the way my skin glowed on to the way my spirit was uplifted by the subtle but beautiful scent of the shea butter. And that really was a beautiful closure to my retreat. So the shea butter is the truth. And
Yeah.
again, it's not just for us, it's the best thing for
No.
all of us to use, but it's not just for the sisters. It's for
Fellas,
the brothers
fellas, come
too.
on.
Yeah, it's for the brothers
Because
too.
and it's I like the way that you stated that it's a subtle scent.
Yeah,
And it's also a scent that stays with you for the entire day. That
right.
it the way that I created this formula is so that it penetrates your skin. It's not something that sits on your skin. It goes into your skin. It's doing what it needs to do for your skin, but that scent sits on you all day.
Absolutely.
So I'm very proud. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Oh, you are so very welcome, my darling. Um, so
So
what else
I
can
have
you tell us? Or
I
you have
have
more
one more
questions?
question. I just
Mhm.
have one more question.
Okay.
How's the food? Because
Oh,
you
Oh,
said that
yes,
you went to
big one.
cookouts and all of those things. So
I was gonna hit
you
on
were
that.
hitting on my questions, and
Yeah.
so how was the food?
Oh, the food was we had you can have a variety. You can have there's KFC there, so if you want the
We
fast
don't want
food,
that.
no, I know.
Mm-mm,
A
mm-mm.
Wimpy's, there's all of that. But also,
Really?
yeah, there's a Wimpy's there, which I was kind of, oh my goodness.
That's an
Um,
Interesting.
old sandwich store, right?
hmm
I
Yeah,
haven't heard of that in years.
they're
Yeah.
there. Yeah, yeah, and
Wow.
what right there, Namibian are meat eaters like none other. Love their meats, love their meats, and it's the food is very good when you have that fresh. That was the non-GMO. You could taste the difference in the food there. Like I mean, I take it to my experience with the Rwanda and just that fresh, just something like a banana.
Yeah.
I mean, just something different, like in Namibia with eggs. It's like, yeah, just something different because you don't have all of that, the preservatives and all the other
Mhm.
stuff in there. Really
All
good,
the
and
trash.
you've got, yes, and they've got that too, but more options with there's still
Yeah.
that, I would say not completely pure, but almost that purity. Here we're like we're over.
Oversaturated.
Yes, yes. But the food is good. I mean, we had some they have things that were influenced by, like, with the German and South African cultures, but they have things there. Like, we went to I think it was the second to last night, or maybe the last night that I was there. We went to a place that sells the meat for and if you're vegetarian, I'll be real quick with this. So
Oh, no,
don't
take
like
your
to hear
time.
about vegetarian. But springbok,
No,
kudu
we want to
beef.
hear about vegetarian too.
You want to hear about
The whole
vegetarian
gamut.
too?
The
Yeah,
whole
because one
gamut.
of our members was a vegetarian, and they would fix things for her, so wherever we were specifically, and
Mhm.
hook her up and be creative with it. But it's fresh food, fresh meat, fresh vegetable. Those options are plenty there.
Mm.
That when I mentioned Katatura, the single quarter
Mhm.
market that we went to, it was completely Namibian, black Namibian. The fresh meat they slaughter and it's right there cooking it right in front of you. They had different stands, and you walk up and choose whoever you wanted to, and they kind of, I don't know if they compete, but they want your business. Each person is kind of independent vendor, so they want your business. You walk up and they had different spices there, and you choose whatever the amount of meat is you'd want. And they actually cook most of their food fresh, especially the chicken. Yeah, the chicken was chicken, the beef. um yes, huge. I mean, I had crocodile at that restaurant, springbok, those like deer things that jump like 70 feet in the air, those things, that meat. Very good.
And you
They're
see,
hmm
that's the difference with the meat. Because it's
yes,
so fresh, it's
yes,
not processed, the
yes.
animals are not raised in an aggressive way. The meat is probably not
Not stressed.
harmful
Right.
because
No hormones.
it's
Yeah.
exactly, there's so many things that are done to the meat. And here in North Carolina, the crazy thing is, even in the city where my office is, there's actually a farm 3 blocks away from my office where the cows just grazing around and they're just hanging out. And this man raises this cattle for food.
They call them free
So
range. Yeah.
from free range, and it's
Free
in the
range.
middle of
Yeah.
a city. In the middle
Wow.
of the
Wow.
city, this man is 2 or 3 blocks away from an
Well,
office
God bless
park,
him.
Yeah.
and he has a huge farm, and you just see the horses and the cows and everything just grazing around. So that's an awesome thing.
Hmm.
So we just have to realize that we're going to be it's going to be a culture shock, one,
Yeah.
coming from all of the strife that we deal with here.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for it. I'm so excited about it.
Well, let me
Mhm.
tell
um
you, I'm looking forward to you all touching the
oh,
ground
I
and just
can't wait.
seeing your reaction to, because it's one, and there's some things I could definitely get used to with no problem, and that's one of them, is that fresh food.
I know
um
I know what is going to affect me the most,
mhm.
and it's going to be being in a country where I'm the majority.
Yeah,
That's what's going to
yeah.
affect me the most. I know that.
Mhm.
I
Hmm.
can,
Yeah.
I know myself pretty well. That's going to be an emotional
Yeah.
experience
I
for
was just
me.
gonna say that.
You
Yeah.
know, that's going to be what really, really, that's going to be the biggest take back. Just seeing people who look like me,
Yeah.
and not worrying about whether or not my skin is going to be a detriment to me.
So you're
So
Yeah.
that's
one of the,
important.
yep.
Yeah.
And when
So
Spirit Lifters was talking about the police earlier, and that's something that the I mean, that's something that you just can't, I don't know, I would put an amount on, that you just appreciate. As I said, 100% you appreciate being somewhere where that's not on your mind when you see somebody in with a, I'm gonna say whatever the gun is, in the military uniform or the police uniform. You're not automatically fearful, or at
right,
first being there, it is kind of, because you kind of look, but it's different. um it's not that they're usually just trying to get by you, or walk by to go where they need to go, not to harass you. That's just
right,
not,
because they're
it's the
actually
norm.
doing their job.
Right,
They're actually
absolutely.
doing their job. Their
It's
their
wonderful.
focus
That
is
was
not
wonderful.
to cause problems.
Yes.
So we are nearing the end of our live.
Before
Everyone
we
who
end,
asked about
yeah,
everyone
yes, your website.
everyone who asked about my
Oh,
website is actually down right now, but I'll get everybody information. Don't I've been working without a website for about a year. So, but I'll get everybody the information that they need. I promise.
Yes, love it,
There was
Nigel.
also another
Yes, love it,
question.
Nigel.
There was a question to you, sis, from a Siri about asking if you've used, and maybe to you too, Helena.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find it about a particular oil.
I
I've
saw
n-
that.
I
I've never
missed some
used
of
it
these. I'm
before,
sorry, y'all.
and I'm gonna research it though.
Okay.
I've never used it before, but I saw that, and I'm gonna definitely look into it.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
You
Have
see
you
it?
looked into Chebe oil for hair growth?
Yes.
CHEBE. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of it, so thank you,
Me
Siri,
either.
for
That's why I'm gonna. That's why
bringing
when
that
she
up.
put it in, that's definitely something that I'm gonna look into. And if anybody wants to just get some samples, I will contact everybody that requested information, and I'll get you guys some samples. My motto is sample, sell, butter. So
Right.
I don't have a problem with giving out samples, and
Give you a little taste.
samples are so. That's right, just a little bit,
Just a little
just
bit
a
now.
little bit. Reel you back
Yes.
in.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
That's something that
So
can definitely be done.
good, because it's like I'm a client for life. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I told her she got me. She got me.
Yes, yes.
I'm
And
in.
before we close, I just want to say that I am going to basically say the same things all the time because I believe in pushing us to be our better selves and our highest selves. So it's going to be redundant. It might even be annoying, but my job, I know what my breath is for, and my breath is to remind us of how incredible we are as human beings, um, how beautiful we are, how brilliant we are, how phenomenal we are, because the world beats us down all the time. Having to look into these budgets and struggle to pay bills when we're working 37.5 to 40 hours a week to just put most of our money into mortgages and rent. That is not the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
That even that alone is beating us down. So for me, it's always going to be about, particularly for our youth, for us to come up with curriculums, for us to come up with how-tos in terms of how to function in this life. And while we're here in America, and how to change how we think, so that, because a lot of us don't even think that we are African, and so the thought of leaving here is not even whatever. And hey, I'm not going to say that we're going to change everybody's mind, because as our sister said on Thursday, she had to accept the fact that some members may not come. We may not all end up in one place, but as long as we are focusing on creating a better path for ourselves, and particularly, like this one sister said tonight, or someone here said, for the next generation, that is the important thing. So forgive me, but since I was allowed to come on here and say speak my truth is that I put my children in African-centered schools because I wanted them to be able to walk into any room, any boardroom, and trust in themselves and be confident in who they are. So I've been in this for a very long time. And like I said, I'm pushing us to treat ourselves better, from what we put in our bodies from day to day, what we put in our minds in terms of what we read, what we watch. I'm pushing us to be our better selves. And our life is our canvas. So I want us to, as Africans, to find our rhythms so we can be grateful and embrace the present of the present. So I just wanted to close on that note.
Beautifully said.
Absolutely. Like I said, I was so excited about this particular show because I knew I was going to get some incredible information, and I thank you so much for giving us that information that I was so excited about this particular show. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
you. I appreciate you
you.
both. Thank you. I appreciate you
It's
all.
my favorite guy. It's my favorite guy.
Moja.
So So we when you hear that there's a Sisters for Nationhood live stream, just know that we're trying to bring you important information. It's not I mean the title of our live stream, Sisters for Nationhood, that to me, that's serious. You know, that's not something that we're gonna go and sit around and chit chat and cackle. We are here to make sure that you're getting the information that you need as sisters, because we want all of our sisters to know that there is a place in this nation that we're trying to build. There is a place in the BAIO for sisters to voice their opinions, their experiences, and what they need and believe we should have in our nation. So I just want to let you all leave with that, so that this is our space to discuss whatever we need to say, whatever we need to do, and whatever we need to say. This is our space. So let's treat it as such and do what we need to do. Let's come together and have some great interactions and build. So I'm good for this evening. I'm content. This was one of the best live streams that we've had. So I'm excited.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you again. I think someone said there's much more we haven't heard. There's much more to tell.
Yeah.
So maybe we should have a part 2 at some point. But thank you so much, Helena, and thank you again, everyone that joined in. Please spread the word about the BAIO. Please spread the word about Sisters for Nationhood. We have a lot of work to do, and the sisters that are a part of it are, I believe that we're all on fire to do the work.
Absolutely.
I want to thank my co-host. I think that she's one of the most brilliant people that I know. She makes sure that things go the way that they need to go.
Yes,
and I've been asked to do this show for a very long time, and I couldn't wrap my head around doing it. And then it just fell in my lap that she was available. So this is what we needed to be doing. I'm happy I didn't do it before, because it wouldn't have been what it is now and what we needed. So thank you.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you, Love and Nigel. Thank you all.
Yes. All right. Love and light. Peace and blessings all. Signing off.